In between the trickling water of the Truckee River and busy traffic along Interstate 80, there could soon be a building on this rural land. Storey County Commissioners have taken the first steps towards approving a new high-end brothel. It would be called the Crazy Horse Resort and Spa, located on 31 acres of land near McCarran Ranch.
And they want to have fountains and pools and something that Nevada's never seen before as far as a brothel goes.
Hi, George.
Hi, baby.
In 1999, federal agents shut down Storey County's most famous brothel, the Mustang Ranch. Its closure stopped the flow of cash to Storey County, a lot of cash, more than $200,000 every year. Since then, only the Old Bridge Ranch has been operating. Commissioners say they can only issue a limited number of brothel licenses, and they say they have to be selective.
In Storey County, we want to make sure that when we release a license, we've got somebody coming in that's not going to be very controversial, quiet.
This will be the first test to Storey County's new brothel ordinance. It's tougher and looks into backgrounds of potential owners along with looking into health issues. If no red flags are found, approval of this new brothel could move full steam ahead, breaking ground and opening in the next year. County commissioners say they will discuss the adult business's license again January 2nd and could give their approval that day. Covering the story, Carrie Casani, Channel 2 News.
And continuing with our big story, a look at the legal brothels across the state. There are 25 legal brothels spread throughout Nevada right now. There are 4 just south of Carson City, 4 near Winnemucca, 4 near Elko, and 2 near Wells. There are several others spread all across the state in counties where prostitution.
This empty piece of land is one step closer to becoming a place of prostitution. Tonight, a look at the plans for the unnamed brothel and the controversy that's surrounding it. That is our Channel 2 News Big Story. Good evening, everyone. I'm John Mercer.
And I'm Wendy DeMonte. It may not have a name, but Storey County Commissioners have given a proposed brothel approval of a license. It is the first brothel to gain a license since the Mustang Ranch closed back in 1999. Our Carrie Casani was at today's Commissioners meeting and joins us live with the details. Carrie?
Wendy, today commissioners read the new brothel's application for the second time and issued them a license. Its original name, the Crazy Horse Resort and Spa, was withdrawn after Native Americans objected, but local businesses and residents say they have other concerns that need to be addressed. Far from the traffic flowing along I-80 and back inside a boxed canyon. This is what planners are hoping to build. A new high-end brothel developed along 31 acres of land near McCarran Ranch. This afternoon, Storey County Commissioners let planners move one step forward.
Here's the parcel again. Here.
Storey County resident Dave Cox lives just to the west of the brothel site. He says he's worried future customers will not be able to find the discreet location and will show up at his home instead.
Even in years past, when the brothel was 4 miles from us, we continually had people come down our road, including 18-wheelers. One went on the tracks, was run over by a train one time. We've had them come to our back door, knocking on our door because they were lost, but looking for Mustang.
Hi, George.
Hi, baby.
Take care.
Since the Mustang Ranch closed in 1999, commissioners say Storey County has lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. County leaders then focused their attention on developing a state-of-the-art industrial park. Word of the brothel has some business owners worried it will drive away their customers.
We will look at everything we can do to make sure there's no impact on our industrial park, because we realize the future of Storey County is going to be the industrial park. That is number 1 on our list.
Developers say this concrete bridge and a small part of the road will be the only common travel ground between the industrial park and the brothel. And with Storey County's strict brothel ordinance, there will be no signs up to advertise.
Unless you know it's there, you're not going to know it's there. The road will be a road that goes just to the brothel.
The county will be taking public input on the design of the brothel and access to it. As for the new name, planners say they have one, but cannot publicly release it yet. Covering the story, Carrie Casani, Channel 2 News.
Well, there is no central board to regulate prostitution like there is for gaming in this state, but there are some state laws that the counties do have to follow. Now, brothels are not allowed in any county with a population over 400,000 people, and any brothel must be at least 400 yards away from any school or church. and they also have to get a license from their county. It's up to the county to determine license
Some business
restrictions.
owners and their employees don't want the Wild Horse Ranch and Spa so close to where they work, so they are taking the matter to court. News 4's Tina Cox is covering this story and joins us now with the latest on it. Tina?
Joe and Renee, Calcan Foods and Roy Bridge Investments had filed a lawsuit to block construction of a planned brothel nearby. The companies are suing Storey County commissioners and other officials. Opponents say they don't think the brothel needs to be so close to their businesses.
Royal Sierra Extrusions is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from where the Wild Horse Ranch is going to be built.
Property corner where it begins is 717 feet from our property line there.
President Gordon Case is part of a lawsuit against the county to stop the project.
In the spirit of the discussions that we had with the developers that were out here, this was to be a high-end industrial park.
Storey County Commissioner Bob Kershaw says they've done everything by the book.
It was there before they came, and we have a very strict ordinance. All the guidelines have been met.
Ever since the Mustang Ranch shut down in '99, he says the county's losing $250,000 each year.
We may have to raise taxes. We don't want to do that. We want to keep living in Storey County very affordable.
And he adds the real estate and room taxes from this new brothel will help regain that lost revenue. Michael Dermody owns the property just adjacent to where the Wild Horse Ranch will be built. He says brothels are not the problem, the location is.
Just like you wouldn't want to have a housing development in downtown Reno because the business in Reno is not housing, so too the business in this park is not brothels, it's manufacturing and distribution.
Now, Lance Gilman Commercial Real Estate is the company planning to build the Wild Horse Brothel. Commissioner Kershaw tells us the commission feels that they're in the middle of all of this, and he thinks it should be worked out between the brothel developer and the people filing suit. So until then, all of this is in the attorney's hands. Joe,
Horse
back
Ranch
to you.
and Spa Resort has already gotten county approval to build on this rural land. But just over 700 feet away, over 100 employees at Royal Sierra Extrusion are hard at work. The vinyl fabrication plant is one of dozens of industrial businesses in the area concerned the brothel's close location will drive down their business and have a negative effect on their employees.
I have had several male employees talk to me about the brothel, about their wives, and wives calling me now, concerned about their husbands being so close to our business.
Businesses in the industrial park have already filed a federal lawsuit to block construction of the Wild Horse Ranch and Spa. Some of their concerns have to do with traffic. Even Moonlight Bunny Ranch owner Dennis Hoff agrees most of it will come from truckers along Interstate 80.
This is a trucker brothel, and you're going to have every truck in America coming down Highway 80, and that's what's going to be there. There'll be 40, 50, 60 trucks there at one time.
Whether it's extra truck traffic or just knowing the brothel's location is so close by, employees at these growing companies say the idea makes them unhappy, and that has company owners prepared to fight.
If this were a residential community, maybe people would be looking at it a little bit more closely. But for us, that's what it is. You know, it's like our home. We spend the majority of our time here.
We did try to get in touch with the Cash Asset Management, the owners of the Wild Horse Ranch and Spa, to get their comment. They did not return our phone call. The Wild Horse Spa and Resort is scheduled to open this July. Covering the story, Carrie Casani, Channel 2 News.
Well, as we told you yesterday, Dennis Hoff, who we just saw there, the owner of the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, is trying to bring the community together. Now, he wants to build a brand new community center in Mound House.
A proposed brothel east of Reno is stirring up more controversy. First it was the name, and now some business owners are suing Storey County over the whole project. And that story is First on 4. Good evening, I'm Joe Hart.
And I'm Renee Phillips. The Wild Horse Canyon Ranch and Spa would have gone by a different name, but many Native Americans argued that it was disrespectful.
Well, now another debate is on about the brothel set to be built next week. News 4's Tina Cox joins us with that. Tina?
Joe and Renee, two businesses off the Patrick exit east of Reno are now fighting the county over the Wild Horse Ranch and Spa. Owners are afraid their property values will go down once the brothel moves in. Many employees at Royal Sierra Extrusions are concerned. They say there will be drinking and 24-hour partying, and they're not happy about that. County commissioners say the developer has done everything by the book, and legally they have no choice but to approve the project.
We feel we've done everything according to the ordinance, and the law, and we see no reason for it not to move on, the project. So at this point, you know, it's in the hands of the lawyers.
We believe the location is poor. It's more of a land use issue than it is an issue about brothels in themselves. The other issue is that we have a substantial investment here, and we feel that it's going to detract from the value of the land and building we have.
Now, we tried to reach the brothel developer Lance Gilman to get his take on all this, but he never returned our phone calls. Everyone we talked with says they hope to work out the problem before it actually has to go to court. Joe, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Developers want to begin construction on the 24,000 square foot brothel next week, and they say it could.
It's about to begin construction. Crews have already begun work on the road into the Wild Horse Resort and Spa. It's located just off the Patrick exit along Interstate 80. This week, several businesses in a nearby industrial park have filed a federal lawsuit with the hopes of stopping construction of the brothel. They fear the brothel's nearby location will hurt their business and traumatize their employees.
If this were a residential community, maybe people would be looking at it a little bit more closely. But for us, that's what it is. You know, it's like our home. We spend the majority of our time here.
Brothel developers were not available for comment.